What is good, YouTube? Katana here. Now, today we got another build video, and it's gonna be MAGNB. Now, mind you, for all my past builds I've released so far this patch, and for the builds to come, most of the builds won't have any mythic items on it. 100% with certain builds. If you, for example, this build, if you put on a mythic item, certain mythic items, it will perform better. So for example, on a MAGNB, honestly, what I would love to try is Snow Treaders open world, because it gets you out of those immobilizations and snares and things like that. Even though it negates speed already on MAGNB, I don't sprint. Most of the time I use my shade to kite. So because of that, you know, I would try out Snow Treaders. But anyways, into the build itself. This is the character sheet. Oh well, kind of buffed up. I put down shade, and yeah, it's not looking too bad. I used the Mage's Boon. Now when we go into consumables, I use tripods as usual, and I use sugar skulls. I am also, my race is a Breton, mind you. I am a Breton. Now on my front bar, I have willpower for that extra max mag. It is Nern with the shock damage glyph. I know some people like infused with flame enchant. I personally still prefer Nern. I've explained it before. I prefer Nern because it actually, you know, what's it called? It buffs up my actual abilities like tooltips rather than just the enchant. So, you know, I have a 21k bow. Things like those, 9.5 soul, and soul harvest is 16.4. So, and that's not even completely buffed up or anything like that. And also, you'll see my CP, it's not like the usual CP I usually use. So it's not even all out offensive CP. So if you really wanted to, you can even have even more damage with the build. Now the back bar, I'm using Armor Master. Armor Master, I feel like, fell off for when the healing meta was so high. And when the healing was so high during that meta where everybody was like tanky as shit without even trying, Armor Master fell off because you didn't need it. Honestly, last patch and this patch, I would have said Armor Master was it's a very viable set. My weapon damage enchantment on my back bar isn't golded out, but the reason is because I was testing whether or not I liked defending staff on the back bar, powered or infused. And to be fair, it's just preference. I just like the defending because it further increases my stats and my resistances to my stats and things like that, but it's all up to you. Now I tried out a couple of different sets on this build, but I would say this is the one I prefer the most. I use One Piece Dami House, and it's heavy. And I use, for the shoulder, I use One Piece Infernal, and it's light. Now honestly, you don't have to use One Piece Infernal because it's light. I mean, I just use it because instead of Choke Thorn, as you can see, has a mag recovery, but it brought down my max mag just a little bit. And this one, you know, I just wanted a little bit more max mag. You could use really anything, just 1/1 there. Sometimes I put on Choke Thorn for a little bit more mag recovery, sometimes I don't, but it's all up to you. Now, the other set I'm using is Necropotence. So I'm using Necropotence on the chest and legs, and then the small pieces are Armor Master, and then my jewelry is Necropotence, and it's 2 recovery glyphs and 1 spell damage. Now, other sets you could use, honestly, that I've tested that work pretty well, is having all Armor Master on the body, right? And you could just put on Ancient Grace on the jewelry, and then put a VMA Resto on the back bar. And they come out with similar stats. The only thing is you're gonna have a little bit less max health, and only specifically me personally, just because I don't have this triglyph. Like if I had this triglyph, it would be around the same max health. But again, up to you. Other monsters you could use besides what I have is in a duel specifically, You could use the hand. Hand is OP as hell. Carried as fuck. You could use that. Or you could use Choke Thorn. Choke Thorn also works very well. Open world too, you could use it. It's basically, they buffed it last patch, I believe. Basically became the new Troll King. You could also use Troll King. And Engine Guardian. Those are like sets you could use in place. You could probably be more aids with other monster sets, but I'm pretty sure y'all could figure that out. And let me see, what other sets that you could really... I mean, the other sets I tried out, they're okay, but they're not anything crazy. Like, I tried out Mechanical Acuity. Like, it was great when it was up. And, like, you hit like a fucking truck, right? But, I don't know. It was okay. It was okay. It wasn't... The sustain was and the damage was great. So, that's why I prefer this setup, to be honest. It was the most well-balanced setup out of all the setups. Now, skills. This is specifically open world. So, Mass Hysteria, Merciless Resolve, Swallow Soul, Inner Light, Degeneration, Soul Harvest. That's the front bar. Back bar, I use Temporal Guard. Again, you could switch out your back bar for Soul Tether, and you could also have Meteor on your front bar. As you can see, I've been trying to level up my Meteor because I really want to do the whole Meteor Will combo on people because it's really, really dirty, but I haven't been able to level it completely yet. It's been a struggle, low-key. And then we have Dark Cloak on the back bar. Very, very OP for being, you know, for heals and just being tanky in general. I use Siphoning Attacks for better sustain. Dampen because of Armor Master. And on top of that, you know, it's pretty strong with Armor Master. Rapid Regen for another heal. Honestly, this is kind of a flex spot right here. You could, depending whether or not you're using the VMA Resto or not, you could change this out for Race Against Time. I just don't have Race Against Time unlocked and leveled up yet. But that's why I was saying that I would, if I had a Mythic and I had the Snow Treader Mythic, I would use that and still keep Rapid Regen on my bar. Because the main thing you use for kiting is Shadow Image. So, those are the skills. Now CP. You can pause it at any time. Here, I have it the way it is. I know I've always said, like, don't waste your CP and stuff like that. I just really had one extra CP and I was too lazy to, like, really try to figure out how to fix it. I probably could have fixed it pretty easily with the whole Befoul thing. I use Befoul because the Soul Harvest does defile on people and you hit them. So it works really well open world when you hit someone with Soul Harvest and then you give them a will. If that doesn't one-shot them, they can't heal up pretty much. If you just keep Swallow Souling them, and you'll just inevitably kill them most of the time. So that's why I have the Befoul. I don't put anything tumbling because most of the time I just don't dodge roll. I'm either using Shade to get out of certain situations or I'm blocking certain things. So that is why I do that. Honestly, you could easily just take out everything from Befoul, put into tumbling, and like really just even out the CP, but it's all up to you. I was just playing around with it, honestly. Now, this is the difference with my blue CP compared to my other builds. I didn't like to be too self-reliant on like certain carried sets, quote-unquote carried sets, because people would say EG and Choke Thorn are very carried. So, you know, even in an open world aspect, I just kind of want to not be so reliant on it and see like how I could do it without it. So this is what I used as my CP for that. So I put 44 Bless, 56 Elfborn, 56 Elemental Expert, 48 Spell Erosion, and then 66 Master at Arms, because everything we do is direct damage. So I mean, you could put into Staff Expert, sure, why not? But I mean, again, you know, if you're light attack weaving enough, you don't necessarily need. Most of the time typically don't use Staff Expert for any of my builds. The only builds I really use it for is if I'm really integrating light attacks and, you know, overloads and things like that into my build, or if I'm using Tactician on a stand build. But most of the time I don't use Staff Expert if I'm not doing those things. So yeah, you could easily take out from Blessed, and you know, pretty much make it all damage wise, and put it into these trees. So you'd put more into Spell Erosion, more into Elemental Expert, and more into Master at Arms, but it's completely up to you. 56 Ironclad, 33 Resistant, 43, 43, 44, and then 51 Bastion, because like I said with my Magsork build video, Bastion does work again, and it is very effective with your shields. It does give it a little bit of that oomph that it needs. Now, let's look at these stats buffed. I'm gonna just do the whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. So that's my front bar. It's pretty nice. And then, hold on. And then my back bar. Pretty nice. So if you could see, those resistances are pretty good. And then on top of that, like, knowing how much we have into Blessed, and then how much we have into Bastion, I mean, we're pretty tanky with pretty good heals. And honestly, the damage is there. Now, the only difference I use in a duel for skill wise, truthfully, I just put on Elemental Drain instead of Inner Light. That's it. That's honestly it. But I have been liking this build a lot. It is pretty nice, and I would say Armor Master would work on most mag tunes with shield. It's just, I'm not gonna lie, not as necessary with most other classes. Thing is, Nightblade doesn't have, like, its healing is okay. It's, what it's really good for is, like, they're actually just pretty tanky because of Dark Cloak. So, you know, that's why I liked Armor Master, because Dark Cloak plus, you know, your shield plus the maim you get from Shade, that it really, like, worked well together. It really synergized. So if you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like, drop a comment down below if you have any questions, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe.